Hi and welcome to class 7. Actually on there I just realised I've got class 6, but it's class 7 of my intermediate level English course. So first of all, I apologise for being a little bit late. I had some technical problems with my microphone, so I'm actually about 11 minutes late. The class was supposed to start at 12. So anyway, let's get on with the class. I don't know if we have anyone in the chat. I'm not really publicising these classes anymore, just like an hour before I put them live. So yeah, I've got Rod Rice Bin Pollo, or Rod Rice Bin Pollo. Hola, hi. He's the only one here at the moment, but it doesn't matter. Let's continue with the class, and today we're going to look at reflexive pronouns. Reflexive pronouns. Where's my marker? Reflexive pronouns. Also we've got Miriam. Hi Miriam, how are you? Who else have we got? Is there anybody else watching, or are there only 2 viewers at the moment? That's fun. Yeah, we've got Emerson. Hi Emerson. From Brazil. Who else? Anybody else? No. So let's continue with the class. Reflexive pronouns. Reflexive pronouns. What are pronouns? Well, before we ask what are reflexive pronouns, hi Carla from Peru, Julia from Oaxaca, Kevin, don't know where you're from. Remember, no Spanish in this class, because this is an intermediate level. So if you don't understand, then you can follow my A1 course for beginners or my A2 course, lower intermediate, and there are links to those courses below in the chat. This class is intermediate, and that's why it is in 100% in English. So today we're looking at reflexive pronouns. Reflexive pronouns. Before we ask what is a reflexive pronoun, let's answer the question, what is a pronoun? A pronoun, it's a word that takes the place of a noun. Pronouns can do all the things that nouns can do. They can be subjects, they can be direct objects, they can be indirect objects, or they can be the objects of a preposition, and more. So for example, what is a pronoun? Here we have a sentence. Josh is a person obviously, gave the book to Anne. So in this sentence we have 3 nouns. We have Josh, we have a book, or the book, and we have Anne. So we're going to replace those 3 nouns with pronouns. Now we can only do that when the speaker, both the speaker and the listener, know what the things refer to. So if we want to replace the nouns in this phrase, we can say he gave it to her. So here we have the subject. So here we need to use the subject pronoun. Now remember, the subject is the person or the thing performing the action. In this case, I haven't got a book here, but imagine this is a book. Josh is giving, or he gave in the past, he's giving the book. Josh, imagine I'm Josh, is performing the action. That's the subject. So here we are using the subject pronoun. Yeah, if you don't understand, you need to go back and do course A1 beginner and course A2 lower intermediate. This is an intermediate level class for people who have completed A1 and A2. Hi Graciela. Yeah, don't worry about being late, Graciela, because I was actually 8 minutes late. Gloria says good evening. So I guess that you are in Spain or in Europe, because here it's still just afternoon or early afternoon. So let's return to the reflexive pronouns. Here we have replaced Josh, the subject, the thing performing the action of the verb, with the subject pronoun, which is he. And we have replaced the book, the direct object, because the book, if this is the book, is receiving the action. We have replaced it with the object pronoun, it. And Anne we have replaced with another object pronoun, her. This word here is a preposition. So this is the indirect object. It's also the object of this preposition. He gave it to her. We're using 3 pronouns. So let's continue with the next page, because we've already seen in level A1 and level A2 the subject pronouns that we use to replace the subject of a sentence, and the object pronouns that we use to replace the direct object, the indirect object, or the object of a preposition with. So basically we have here the first person singular, I, you, he, she, it. This is first person singular, second person singular, third person singular for a man, third person singular for a woman, and third person singular for a thing. And then we have 3 plural forms. We, first person plural, you, second person plural. In English, sorry, that's Spanish. In English, it's the same, you. And third person plural is they. And here we have, so when we have a sentence, for example, if we say, if we make a sentence, Dave and Anne are watching this video. Dave, it's a sentence, Dave and Anne are watching this video. Dave and Anne, here is the subject, is Dave and Anne, so we would replace Dave and Anne with the subject pronoun. It's 2 people, it's third person, so we would say they. They are watching the video. And here we have, on this side here, we have the object pronouns. Hi Freddie. We have the object pronouns. So me, you, him, her, it, singular. First person, second person, third person for a man, him, third person for a woman, her, and third person for a thing, it. And here we have the 3 plural forms that correspond to these, but for the object, us, you, and them. First person, second person, third person. So if I wanted to replace the pronoun here, I would say watch it, or replace video with the pronoun here. I would say they are watching it. So these pronouns here, everybody should know, because we've seen them before: subject pronouns and object pronouns. But today what we want to look at is reflexive pronouns. Reflexive pronouns are used when the subject and the object are the same thing. So in a minute I'll give you some examples, but let's have a look at the reflexive pronouns. Myself, yourself, himself, herself, itself. So obviously these here correspond to the ones here. This is first person singular, second person singular here, third person singular for a man, third person singular for a woman, third person singular for a thing, sometimes also for an animal. But if it's a dog or a cat, like a personal pet, normally we would use one of these ones. And first person plural, second person plural, third person plural. So here we have the myself, yourself, himself, herself, itself, and ourselves, yourselves, themselves. So when the subject and the object are the same thing, we need to use one of these reflexive pronouns. So let me give you another example. For example, if I say, this is my camera here, I am touching the camera. I am touching the camera. I'm touching the camera right now. So I could, if I want to replace that sentence with pronouns, well, I've already got one pronoun here. This obviously is a pronoun, but I could replace the camera with it. I could replace the camera with it. So I could say, I'm touching it. I'm touching it. Or maybe it's better to say, another example might be better. This is not a good idea, but I'm hitting the camera. You can probably hear it. I'm hitting the camera. I'm hitting it. So I'm hitting the camera. Well, actually, I'm hitting the microphone. I'm hitting the microphone. I'm hitting the microphone, or I'm hitting it, because here I need to use the object pronoun here, because this is the object, the thing that is receiving the action is the microphone. I'm hitting it. But what about if I do this, which is a pretty stupid thing to do, but just to show the point, we could say Richard is hitting Richard. Not a good idea. But another way of saying that would be Richard is hitting himself. Or he is hitting himself, because it's not a good idea. Actually, this is a punch, not a hit, so maybe I should change that to punch. Very bad idea, but it illustrates the point, because in this sentence the subject and the object are the same thing. It's me. So I would say I am, or maybe use the contraction, I am punching myself. I am punching myself. When the subject and the object are the same thing, that is where we want to use the reflexive pronoun. When I hit the microphone, I'm the subject, the microphone is something else, so I use the subject pronoun and the object pronoun. But when I do that, Richard, I am both the subject and the object, so I need to use I'm punching myself. Or if you say it, you say he is punching himself. Let's have a look at the chat for a minute. I believe in myself. Very good. Is correct. Yeah. I believe in myself. Somebody in the chat put that example, a very good example. I believe in myself. I believe in myself is an example. And on the next page, I think I've got some more examples. Yeah, so here are some more examples. We've got, first of all, we've got here, we say, Jessica looked at Emily. Jessica and Emily are two different people, so we say she looked at her. She looked at her. So here we're using the subject pronoun, and here we're using the object pronoun. But when the subject or the object are the same thing, use the reflexive pronoun. When the subject and the object are the same thing, use the reflexive pronoun. Jessica looked at Jessica in the mirror. In normal language, we would not say that. I only put that there, actually, to illustrate the point. In this sentence, Jessica is in front of the mirror, and she is move things all the time on here. Let's go back and put that. This here is not a sentence that you would normally use because the subject and the object are the same thing. So it sounds silly to say Jessica looked at Jessica. What we say is Jessica looked at herself. Jessica's in the mirror and she's looking at herself. If I look there, I can see myself because I'm watching my own video. I can actually show you, I think, there maybe. I'm watching myself. I'm watching myself. I'm watching myself. So this is where we use the reflexive pronoun. Another use of the reflexive pronoun is to emphasize. Here we have another note here. You also use a reflexive pronoun. Actually, here I've made another spelling mistake. Very annoying. Those two are the wrong way round. You can also use a reflexive pronoun to emphasize that the subject did something without help or alone. For example, Andrew fixed his car by himself. I mean, it's possible to say just Andrew fixed his car without by himself, but by adding by himself, or in this example I've got all by himself, that adds even more emphasis. I emphasize that it was Andrew that fixed his car and not a mechanic. He fixed his car by himself. I made this video by myself. I could just say I made this video, but I say I made this video by myself emphasizes that nobody helped me make this video. Nobody helped me make this video. Okay, so I think I'll, let's go to the next page. Let's go to the next page. Another word that I wanted to look at, which is related to this, is themselves versus each other. What is the difference between themselves? We've already seen themselves was a reflexive pronoun. It's the plural, first person plural. But we have another word. Where is it? I've lost it now. Each other. So we've already seen that themselves is the reflexive pronoun. We have another word, each other. Use each other when the action is reciprocal. Look at the examples here. Daniel looked at Sarah and Sarah looked at Daniel. And another spelling mistake with Daniel here. Spelling mistakes. Well, there are more typos than spelling mistakes. Daniel looked at Sarah and Sarah looked at Daniel. So we can say Daniel and Sarah looked at each other. This is reciprocal. Here's Daniel, here's Sarah, he's looking at her, she's looking at him. It's a reciprocal action. It's not the same as them doing something to themselves. Here's another example. Daniel and Sarah stood in front of the mirror and looked at their reflection. This time you have Daniel and Sarah together in front of the mirror and they are looking at themselves. They're looking at themselves. It's different from they looked at each other. Daniel and Sarah stood in front of the mirror and looked at their reflection. Daniel and Sarah stood in front of the mirror and looked at themselves. Hi Noelo. Punching golpeando, yeah, good. So basically, this is another word that we can use when we have reciprocal actions. Here I've got some more examples of reflexive pronouns. More examples of reflexive pronouns. The first one is, please don't pay for me, I prefer to pay for myself. If you went to, somebody offered to pay for the cinema or the movie theatre in American English, or somebody offered to pay in the restaurant, you could say, no, please don't pay for me, I prefer to pay for myself. And no, you don't say, I prefer to pay for me, I prefer to pay for myself. Another common example, Vanessa enjoyed herself on vacation or holiday. First of all, here I have vacation is American English and holiday is British English. Vanessa enjoyed herself is the same as saying Vanessa had a good time. Vanessa had a good time. Vanessa enjoyed herself on holiday. Talking to yourself is the first sign of madness. Talking to yourself. When you are talking to yourself, when you're the only person listening. Talking to yourself. Another note here, don't use reflexive pronouns after feel, relax, meet, or concentrate. Concentrate on the lesson. You don't say concentrate yourself on the lesson. That bit there is wrong. Yeah, that's wrong. Let's cross that out so people know that it's wrong. You have to say concentrate on the lesson, or I am going to concentrate on the lesson. Another word like that, relax. Don't say relax yourself. Just relax. You should relax. And meet. What time shall we meet? Not meet ourselves. You can't meet yourselves. What time shall we meet? Let's have a look. What's next then? I think I've covered a lot of the stuff here. Got some more examples. More examples. First of all, emphasis. Examples of emphasis. On the previous page, we saw examples where the subject and the object are the same thing. But remember, we can also emphasize, use the reflexive pronouns to emphasize things. So basically, sorry, I don't want to rub that out. Hold on. The first example I have is, I'm not going to help you. Do it yourself. Do it yourself. Here I'm using the reflexive pronoun to emphasize the fact that you should do it yourself, that I'm not going to help you, is for emphasize. I could just say you do it, but if I want to emphasize that I'm not going to help you, so I say do it yourself. And incidentally, I put down here a note, do it yourself in English is often called DIY. In the United States, they have stores like Home Depot, or Lowe's are do-it-yourself stores. What does it do-it-yourself? This is the dictionary definition. Do-it-yourself, a DIY, abbreviation for do-it-yourself. The activity of decorating or repairing your home or making things for your home yourself, rather than paying someone else to do it for you. DIY is like when you paint your house, but you don't pay a painter to paint your house, you do it yourself. DIY. So you will hear that expression. And underneath we have another example. We decorated the house ourselves. Again, here the reflexive pronoun is for emphasis. We could just say we decorated the house, but here you want to emphasize that you did it, or that we did it, that we painted the house, that we didn't pay somebody else to decorate the house. Because if you just say we decorated the house, it's ambiguous. It doesn't tell you who decorated the house. It could have been you, or you could have paid somebody else to do it. By adding this, you emphasize and you make it less ambiguous that you actually did paint the house or decorate the house yourself. So I hope everybody's understood the reflexive pronouns. Here, let me just copy from here, because in this exercise we need to use either these ones here. So let's just copy them over to that page, wherever it is. I think it's this one here. No, a lot of pages. This one here must be. Put that down there. Let's go back up there and get the reflexive pronouns too. These ones here. Copy them down there. We can find the page again. I can't. Let's copy them there too. So what we've got to do in this exercise is let's move these so we can see them, hopefully here. So we've got some questions here. Unfortunately, I've got to make it smaller. Hope you can see it if you're on a cell phone. It's a bit tricky arranging everything here. Let's make this smaller here. So we've got these are the object pronouns, and these ones here are the subject pronouns. Oh, sorry, the reflexive pronouns. Let's take that out of there. So what you've got to do in this exercise is put the correct pronoun in the spaces. So you're either going to use, you've got two choices, to use either the object pronouns, which are down here, or the reflexive pronouns up here. From these pronouns, you need to put the correct one, complete with an object pronoun or a reflexive pronoun. So question number one, David had a great vacation or holiday. Remember, vacation, American English, holiday, British English. He enjoyed. Which one of these words, one of these or one of these, goes here? Can anyone give the answer? Yeah, Javier, Graciela, they have the correct answer. The correct answer is he enjoyed himself, because that's a way in English of saying he had a good time. The correct answer here is he enjoyed himself. Missed that bit, blue. Question number two, it's not my fault, don't blame. It's not my fault. Mirna, don't blame me. Yeah, very good. This time we need to use the object pronoun, because you don't blame me. I'm the object. You don't blame me. That's what I'm saying. So I need to use the object pronoun. The subject and the object are different. In the first sentence that we saw here, the subject and the object are the same. He enjoyed himself. So we need to use the reflexive one. Question number three. What I did was wrong. I'm ashamed of. I'm ashamed of. What I did was wrong. I'm ashamed of. Very good, Mirna. Mirna has the correct answer. I'm ashamed of. I'm ashamed of myself because I'm the subject and I'm also the object, so I need to use the reflexive pronoun. I'm ashamed of myself. Very good. I'm ashamed of myself. Number 4, I have a problem and I hope you can help. What word do we put here? Gloria, Alex, Mirna, correct, me, because here I want you to help me. So you're the subject, I'm the object, two different things. So that one, we need to use the object pronoun. Can I have something to eat? Yes, help. This is two people, sorry, yeah. Maybe I should put here, A says, can I have something to eat? B says, sure, or yeah, or yes. Help you, no. No. Has everyone got help me? No. This is like a little conversation. Imagine that A is in your house and says, can I have something to eat? And B says, yeah, sure, help you. No, the answer here is help yourself. Help yourself. When we use this when we want to offer somebody something. If somebody visits you in your house, for example, you can say to them, oh, if you're hungry, help yourself. That means like, just get your own food. I'm not going to get your food for you. Or you could, if you had maybe a party in your house and you had some food on the table, you might just say to people when they arrived at your party, help yourself to food. That means, it's like saying, another way of saying it would be to serve yourself. I'm not going to come and bring you the food. The food is on the table, just take it. Help yourself. That's a common expression in English. Help yourself. So, take an umbrella with in case it rains. Number 5, yourself, says Gloria. Which one are we on? Sorry, number 6. Take an umbrella with you. Jocelyn says yourself. The answer here is you. Take an umbrella with you. And I think probably this could be like an exception to the rule. Take an umbrella, yeah, because you are the person who is taking the umbrella and you're going to take it with yourself. So if we follow the rule, this one should be take an umbrella with yourself, because you are the subject, the thing that is taking the umbrella, and you are taking it with you. So the with is a preposition, but it's not the case. It's an exception. When we have take a book with you, take an umbrella with you, take some money with you, when we have those expressions with take, we don't use the reflexive pronoun. We need to use the object pronoun. Take some money with you, take an umbrella with you, take a book with you. Number 7, don't worry about us. We can take care of. We can take care of. Who's got the right answer here? Mirna, very good. It's nice to see everybody getting, or most people getting, the correct answers. The answer is ourselves, because we are going to take care. The subject and the object are the same thing. We can take care of ourselves. We can take care of ourselves. We can take care of ourselves. Subject and object, same thing. I lent him my tools so he could repair the car. Javier says himself. Very good. Yeah. He's going to repair the car. He's got the tools. He's going to do it on his own. He's not going. This one is for emphasis. It's like saying he couldn't repair the car himself instead of taking it to a mechanic. Instead of taking it to a mechanic. And finally, we have when they come to visit, they always bring their dogs with themselves. Unfortunately not, because this one is like the take one, and we need to just use the object pronoun. This is like it's like the one we saw with the umbrella. They always bring, so they is the subject, their dogs with them, not with themselves. It's like the take, when we have the take one we already saw, take an umbrella with you, take some money with you, and it's the same with bring, because bring is like the opposite of take. So bring some money with you, bring some books with you, bring your dogs with you. Or in this case, they always bring their dogs with them. So that bring with and take with, sorry, let me get that, where's it gone, this thing here. Take with is followed by the object pronoun, and bring with also by the object pronoun. That's like it's an exception when we have Javier saying what, and I'm trying to explain the reason is that take with and bring with are exceptions to the rule. They are always followed by the object pronoun, not the reflexive pronoun. Let's just change that one to blue here. And we can continue with some more questions. We've still got time. I was late today for the class, for my own class. Hi Gloria from Spain. How can I figure out the last one? Javier, the last one, all you need to know is that when you have bring with or take with, you don't use the reflexive pronoun. Bring some money with you. Bring some books with you. Take some money with you. Javier, yeah. The last one, with bring with and take with, we don't use the reflexive pronoun. That's the only thing you need to remember. I think there may be another rule for that too. There's another word and I can't remember what it is now. Just checking. No, I can't remember what. Maybe take with, bring with. I think there could be something else like that one. But bring with, take with. That you use the object pronoun. So let's continue with some more questions. Earlier on, we saw another phrase. We saw each other, each other, each other. So remember, each other is for reciprocal actions. When A does something to B, when they both do something to each other. Not themselves is when the two people do the same thing to themselves. So the subject and the object is the same. Each other is for reciprocal actions. So what we've got to do in this exercise is put in here either one of the reflexive pronouns, one of the plural reflexive pronouns, or each other. How long have you and Kevin known? How long have you and Kevin known each other? Very good, yeah, because Kevin knows you and you know Kevin. It's reciprocal. So here we need to say each other. Each other. Next question. If people stay in the sun too long, they can make sick. Sick. Number two. Who's got the answer to number two? Who's got the answer to number 2? Anybody got the answer to number 2? It doesn't look like it, so I'm going to put the answer here because I don't want to waste too much time with it. Themselves. If people here is plural, people in English is the plural of person. Some, especially Spanish speakers, we're not supposed to have any Spanish, but a lot of Spanish speakers say persons for the plural of people. But, or it does exist persons, but it's much more common in English to use people as the plural of persons. Persons isn't really used anymore. The only time you're going to use persons, or you can use persons, is when you actually specify a number. So people is plural. The reason here that we have to have the reflexive pronoun themselves. First of all, people is plural, but people is the subject. If they stay in the sun too long, they, the people, can make themselves sick. They, the people is the subject and the object is the same. The same people are going to be sick. So here, this time we need to use the reflexive pronoun. Number 3, I love you and you love me. We love each other. Very good. If two people love each other, one says I love you and you love me, we love each other. We love each other. It's a reciprocal action. We love each other. At Christmas, friends give. At Christmas, friends, number 4. Who's got the answer to number 4? At Christmas, friends give. Number 4. Has anybody got the answer to number 4? Has anybody got the answer to number 4? It doesn't look like it, so I'm going to have to put it here. I don't know if the chat is very slow today or the students are very slow, I don't know. At Christmas, friends give each other presents. It's a reciprocal action. Normally, and anyway, in most English-speaking countries, people give each other presents. Number 4, each other, yeah. After I put the answer on here, it's reciprocal. Number 5, Jack had an argument with his wife and they aren't talking. They aren't talking to. Number 5. Who's got the answer to number 5? They aren't talking to. Has anybody? I don't know if there's a big delay in a big lag, a big delay or a big lag, we can say in English, in the chat today because it seems very slow. So basically, I think I'll have to put the each other, but what is that? The number 5, each other. Yeah, they aren't talking. Who said that? Yeah, Gloria and Mirna. They aren't talking to each other. Again, it's a reciprocal action. Jack isn't talking to his wife, and his wife isn't talking to him. So we need to use each other. Each other. Good. Finally, the last question for today. Some people are so selfish. They only think of. Number 6. Anybody got the answer to number 6? Number 6. They only think. Here again, people is plural, remember. They only think. Nobody is coming up with the answer. I think there's a long delay. Themselves. They only think of themselves. Selfish people only think of themselves. Okay, very good. I think that is enough. I think I started 10 minutes late, so I think we've got here number 6, themselves. Now everybody is answering. After the answer, is on the board. So I don't know what's happened with the chat today, because normally the chat is much quicker, but it seems very slow today. I think that's finished that subject, and most people, I think, understood it. So we've still got, I think I started today's class late, so let's try and finish the class with this vocabulary. I've got some vocabulary here. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 words, adjectives to describe people's personality. Yeah, we answered on time. Yeah, sorry, Min. I think there's a big delay somewhere in the chat, because I'm getting your answers like 5 minutes after. So, congratulations. So here we've got, I forgot how many it was, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 adjectives. And here we've got 12 adjectives to describe people's personalities. And here we've got 12 definitions. So I should have 12 definitions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 definitions. So I don't know what happened there. But anyway, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, sorry, 13. Yeah, I can't count, not in English. Okay, can you put the correct adjective with, is a little blurred. I don't know if you're watching it on the phone, Fabi. What you need to do is put the thing on high definition. High definition. If your internet connection is slow, then YouTube is going to downgrade the quality of your video automatically. So when you watch, if you're watching this video as a recording, always make sure you have my videos on HD high definition. Everything is recorded in high definition. Sometimes people say, I can't read the text. And the reason is that the video is on low definition. You need to click on the options depending on what device you're on. If you're on the computer, the options are on the little cog, on the little gear wheel. On your, for example, I can show you on here on my laptop. I think I can show you on my laptop. Here you have the little cog. For example, this is in, right now this is in 420. And I can see very clearly this on my screen. It's on 420, but if you're watching this, you can go put it in 720. What's going to happen is, now it's in 720, what will happen is, if the internet, with streaming video or with the recording, if the video is slow, YouTube is going to downgrade the quality. So I wanted to answer that question because a lot of people ask that in the comments on my videos. I can't see it's blurry. It's always because you've got the video on low definition. So let's continue with this. Feeling angry or unhappy because you like or love. Feeling angry or unhappy because somebody you like or love is showing interest in somebody else. Mirna already has the answer. Very good, Mirna. The answer is jealous. Jealous. So we can just put that up there. It's a bit smaller, but it doesn't matter. Number 1 is jealous. Number 2, angry and behaving in a threatening way, ready to attack. Angry and behaving in a threatening way. Alex Perez, very good. Aggressive. Aggressive. Very good. People are quicker in the chat now. Aggressive. Good. Caring only about yourself rather than about other people. A word that we saw earlier on today. And incidentally, don't forget that if you don't understand the word, Mirna has the correct answer, selfish. If you don't understand the word, you know, everybody now, or most people now, have a cell phone. Just grab your cell phone and, you know, in Google, just say the word, and if you're a Spanish speaker, the word en inglés. For example, aggressive, en español, perdón, and it's going to tell you the word, or just check on the cell phone. That's the best way now of learning vocabulary. When I learned to speak Spanish, I didn't have a cell phone, I had a little dictionary. When I wanted to learn a new word, a little pocket dictionary, I used to look the word up in the dictionary and make a note of that word in another little notebook so that I could learn new vocabulary. That's a great way of learning new vocabulary. Now it's much, much easier because you just can Google it on your cell phone. So what's this chat? In Spanish it's easy to understand aggressive. Yeah, it's almost the same. Yeah, a lot of words obviously are the same, but sometimes you need to be careful about words that look the same. In the case of aggressive, it's almost the same in Spanish. But other words, for example, we have two words here we're going to see later, sensible and sensitive, which are different in Spanish and English. Sometimes the words don't have the same meaning in Spanish and English. Those words are called false friends, and I did make another video about that subject. So what have we got next? Somebody said aggressive for this one. Caring only about yourself. Yes, I've already got the answer here, sorry. Graciela, Gloria, selfish is the answer there. So let's just put that up there. Selfish. That's the answer to that one. Okay, determined to be successful, rich or powerful. Determined to be successful, rich or powerful. Ambitious. Very good. Again, another word if you're a Spanish speaker, and this class is not only for Spanish speakers, but I understand that most people here are Spanish speakers. I think we had somebody from Brazil earlier. If you're a Spanish speaker, and probably in Portuguese, I don't speak Portuguese, it's probably very similar, that word, because these words originate from Latin. That's why they're similar in English and Spanish. Latin words, Latin-based words are very similar in English and Spanish. Spanish is a Latin-based language, and English has a lot of words that come from Latin. Very pleasant or attractive. Very pleasant or attractive. Very pleasant or attractive. Anybody? Very pleasant. No, bossy, no. The answer this time is charming. Charming. Something that a person could be applied to a person, and it could be applied to a thing too. I think it's more common to apply it to a person actually. When a person is very pleasant or attractive, could be physical or it could be in the person's personality. They're very nice. We say they're charming. Yeah, charming. Aware of. The next one is aware of and able to understand other people and their feelings. Aware of and able to understand other people and their feelings. What do we call this? Reliable. Sensitive. Sensitive. Very good. Sensitive. Which in Spanish, if you shouldn't have any Spanish in this class, is different. I'm not going to use any Spanish words because I'll be breaking my own rule, but in Spanish this is more like this one here, sensible, which has a different meaning in English. So sensitive is a person, a sensitive person is aware of and able to understand other people and their feelings. What do you call somebody who is always telling people what to do? Always telling people what to do. Always telling people what to do. What do we call that in English? Always telling people what to do. Bossy, very good. Number 7, bossy. Bossy, always telling people what to do, is a bossy person. A bossy person. The next one, able to make good judgments based on reason and experience rather than emotional. Also practical. Able, yeah, like boss, very good, yeah. Able to make good judgments based on reason and experience rather than emotion. What's the word for that in English? What's the word for that in English? Can anybody tell me the word for that in English? Anybody tell me the word for that in English? Well, the word for that in English is this one here, sensible. Sensible. So, like I just told you, this is a word. If you're a Spanish speaker, this has a very different meaning in Spanish. Sensible. The word in Spanish is like sensitive in English. I don't want to use Spanish in the class, but if you're a Spanish speaker, you should pay attention that this word is very different. The word in Spanish in English is sensitive, and sensible is able to make good judgments based on reason and experience. Enjoying spending time with other people. Gloria's already got the answer. Very good. Sociable. 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 Showing caring feelings and love for somebody. Showing caring feelings and love for somebody. I think my class is going to go over an hour today, which is very bad, but okay. Anybody got the answer? The answer is affectionate. 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 That can be trusted to do something well that you can rely on. Yeah, Mina's got the answer. Number 10, Gloria, affectionate. What about this one here? Can be trusted to do something well, somebody you can rely on. What do you call that? I'm going to have to speed it up a bit. We call that, because I'm just running out of time, that person we call reliable, reliable. Next one, having moods that change quickly and often. A person who one minute is very happy and then very sad and then very angry. What do we call that person? Moody. That person is moody. Moody, moody, moody. What about a child? The next one, I'm going quickly because I'm rapidly running out of time. Of a child, rude and badly behaved because they are given everything they ask for. It should be very easy because there's actually only one word left. It's the last one. And the word is spoil. If you give a child everything, and the child wants an ice cream, you give it an ice cream, or you give him or her an ice cream. The child wants a toy, you give it the toy. The child wants sweets, you give the child sweets or candies in American English. We call it spoilt. And just about time to finish. Thank you very much for watching. Hope to see you in the next class.